You are John. John wakes up sleep deprived. And oh no, John hasn't done his homework yet. Powered by his anxiety, he gets off his bed to the sound of his racing heartbeat and then tries to complete his homework as fast as possible. And he does it successfully. But you still need to get to school. What are you doing, John? Just hurry and grab your stuff. You don't need breakfast. You need to get to school in time. And it's too late. The doorman won't let him in, as John was 1 minute late. John's experience might be familiar to many of us at some point of our lives, but we want to go even deeper than this. This is why school is a hoax. The modern education system is a byproduct of the industrial age, and that obviously implies that it's severely outdated. In the industrial age, capitalists needed good behaving and compliant employees that do the task they are given perfectly and without causing any trouble. Creativity didn't matter to anybody because why would it? You take these tools and you perform your required task as you are told while keeping your mouth shut. Does that remind you of anything? However, with the rise of modern technology, the world has evolved into needing more creative type people, but the education system still hasn't caught up. It instead completely chastises creativity as it is seen as disobedience and disruptivity. Everyone can agree that school should be about people achieving full mastery of a certain domain. I mean, that's exactly what it was invented for, right? But many of the things the system has in place completely self-sabotages its main purpose. First of all, school prioritizes having good grades over actual skill mastery. This pushes students into trying to retain as much information as possible just to pass a test, only to forget everything afterwards. But there isn't just that, there's also the complete neglect for students that fall behind. Let's say you got 50% in a certain test. That means you were able to only retain and use 50% of the material you studied. Well then, we should focus on getting you to master the other 50%, right? But no, instead we just move on, leaving these information disparities get bigger and bigger over time with each test without even trying to fix it, leaving the blame completely on the student. This makes school like a group of people trying to skydive, but they all just get pushed off the plane at the same time without checking if they all have even put their parachutes on yet. People learn at a different pace depending on the subject. I can't believe this even needs to be said. People are just better at different things depending on what they're interested in. If you're going to group a bunch of people in a class, why would you group them based on their age? That is such a counterintuitive solution. Doing that will only leaving people either bored because they know too much about the subject or confused because they don't know enough about it. I've also never understood the point of having a human teacher in this day and age when technology is as ubiquitous as ever. I mean, why is it that I can list more bad teachers than I can good ones? It can be because these teachers underwent the same system that completely neglects informational gaps they've accumulated over the years, can it? Instead of wasting the school's budget on paying human teachers salaries and healthcare and whatnot, we can put modern technology to use. We could set up a more flexible system that completely focuses on skill mastery, where students can pick the domain they're interested in and just go at their own pace. How many times did the teacher say, if you didn't understand something, just say so and I'll explain it all over again? But when you actually do, they would say, well, why aren't you paying attention? I've explained this already. Well, I don't fucking know. Maybe it's because you put this spurg beside me that won't stop bothering me because he doesn't give two shits about this subject. And the only reason he's here is because it so happened that we were born in the same year. Oh, and it's not like we've invented something that could let us go back and hear what was said before. Instead, we just waste other students' time explaining things they already know. We want to be free. We want to do whatever we want. We want to find our purpose in this world. We want to explore our passions and discover the things we're good at. But we can't, because life is needlessly hard. You will wake up at this exact time, attend this exact class at this exact time, go home at this time, graduate at this time every year, get a job the year after, where the same thing repeats itself. Life shouldn't be this incarcerating. Up to 44% of college students reported having symptoms of depression and anxiety. That is not normal. Okay, but let's say we overlook all of this and entertain the idea of school for a second. Teachers and parents will tell you that studying and having good grades is all you need to live a good life. Well, if that's true, why aren't they living that good life? I mean, they followed the same blueprint they're preaching. Why didn't it work out for them? They want you to be like the sleep-deprived 50-something-year-old doctor that studied hard and got good grades, but now he can barely see his family because of his shitty work hours. He drives a shitty Toyota and hopes that he can save enough money by the time he becomes 60 so that he can retire comfortably. While there's 13-year-old girls twerking on TikTok making 10 grand a month on brand deals alone. How is that fair? Well, life isn't fair, and if you follow the wrong blueprint, you're gonna suffer because of it for the rest of your life.